had the idea for the movie and kind of then realised perhaps that it was about depression, and so myself and Tom Meeton, who is looming behind me as usual, who also produced the film, we wanted to make a film that was about depression and mental health issues, but we didn't want it to be a totally depressing film, and so we realised that it was an opportunity to kind of wrap those themes up in more sort of exciting genre clothing and make a thriller, basically, make a mystery, make a detective story. And I think maybe one of the reasons why the detective tale has lasted for 100, 150 years is that you can kind of go anywhere with it, and you can explore all kinds of social issues and all sorts of philosophical themes, and it's just as a genre, it's just like it's like a sponge. The detective story is like a sponge, Alice Lowe.
Okay.
Who are you? In your dreams?
Policeman. Like a police detective.
Is that something you would have liked to have done?
Yeah, I suppose.
And what have you done? For a living, I mean.
Bits and pieces, catering and signing on at the moment.
But in your daydreams, you're someone more exciting.
It's like I'm a policeman and I've taken the blame for something wrong that someone else has done. So I'm off the force, but I still solve crimes. It's really detailed in some ways and really vague in others.
Dreams are like that. Daydreams too.
Found out that Gareth was making a film, and I sort of started trying to insinuate myself into the film
Just hanging
by
around
just harassing Tom Meeton, really, and going, can I be in it? And then I got sent the script, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant, and I thought, oh, I didn't know, I knew Gareth was clever, but I didn't know he had that lurking in his brain. And then I even more wanted to be involved. And then Gareth pretends that he, of his own volition, asked me to be in it, which I think is probably not true. I think I sort of forced the issue somewhat. And then we filmed it, but we filmed it over quite a short time, actually, because the constraints of the budget. But yeah, I mean, Gareth's very surgically precise about what he wants, actually, and the scenes were the scenes were very, the whole thing was very tightly written, and the whole thing was very tightly filmed, actually, because it is a psychological thriller, so it is like a puzzle, and each bit of it feeds into each other and slots in, so there's no deviating from that. You can't sort of go, well, let's just do this scene in a different way and let's sort of improvise it and do something different. I mean, I think it was a very useful experience for me to have worked on the Ghoul, because every time you have a positive experience on a low-budget film, it kind of informs you how you would actually do it and achieve that. So, yeah, it was great for me. Also, it was all like friendly faces. It's all like people that we've all worked with each other for years, really. So you're kind of going in there with this sense of trust that everyone's really great and that you're going to have a nice time.
Horrible to see someone so unhappy.
Yeah.
What about you? Well, you were so unhappy a while back.
I don't know. I'm getting there. I should have seen it coming. It's not the first time. He's strayed a couple of times since uni. I loved Manchester, I went back to visit a couple of months back, and just driving up the motorway, seeing signs to the north, felt so good. Don't think I'll stay in London much longer.
I'd like it if you stayed. Is that a new dress?
Yeah, it's actually. Do you like it?
Yeah.
I know. Might take it back.
Ben's just got a very sort of ruthless editor's brain and editor's eye for what's needed and what isn't needed, so he spotted things late in the edit that we thought we couldn't get rid of, but he would suggest ways of reordering things and ways of shaping scenes that meant that the whole thing just was more efficient. And then, of course, he's been very instrumental in getting the film out into the world, because we finished the film about a year ago, and it's taken that long to get out into the world because it's a tiny film. And Ben and his producer Andy Stark have been instrumental in that. And then indirectly, I was in a film of Ben's a few years ago called Down Terrace, and that was a very low budget film that kind of broke the mould and had a kind of punk rock do-it-yourself ethos. And Ben didn't wait to be given permission to make that film. He just went ahead and did it with a tiny amount of money and some like-minded, willing people. And I was in that film and watched the process and sort of learnt a little bit how to do it, but mostly was just inspired to say, I could do this. How hard can it be to make a film? Turns out really hard. Who knew?